Start with today. We know it's cold. Now, I think the temperature will get a little bit colder than -2, but the urban heat island effect is definitely going on. And that is just the snowpack. There's less fresh snow, right? In Glencoe, there's not a lot of roads, right? There's less roads. Then you get to -12. So the further outside of the metro you get, the colder you get because the fresh snowpack reflects it all back out to space. So that's why you get colder. The cold spot is Wilmer. Now, we've already hit our lows, it looks like. We were at -15 when I got in here. Now we're at -13. So what's going on is the wind is starting to already get initiated. So again, if the wind starts, so it doesn't seem like a lot to you at home maybe, but a 6-mile-per-hour wind, if this was at calm, we'd go back to 10 below zero in the metro. But because it's at 6, we can't go back to 10 below. Any wind speed at all does not allow your temperature to continue to fall. But it's a double-edged sword because now we have lower wind chills. We're around 15 to 27 below here this morning. We're at 14 below here in the metro. So again, we'll be watching that as the winds get a little stronger here late morning. But for now, 15 to 20 below zero is what you're at. We're going to get up to around 13. Now, a couple of things, big changes today. We're going down the roller coaster ride this morning, but we're going up over the next 24 hours. What's going on? Well, this is the Arctic high. Minneapolis is -2. Remember yesterday Key Lake was -25 below zero? Key Lake is 7. Yes, we are colder than Key Lake, Canada. Well, the Arctic high, there's always a south wind. So Saskatoon's 28. We're taking the 28 and bringing it here tomorrow. You know what south winds also do? They drive snow chances. So temperatures will warm, and we'll start talking about a snow chance. So here's current radar. It's not, trust me, it's a baby clipper. But we got to track these out. So again, this looks like the timing of this is going to come in. Models are really struggling on the timing and the exact location, but it looks like hopefully just after the morning commute. Some models are putting it in 6 to 7 a.m. And then as we get to 9, 10 o'clock, that's going to be the best chance. It's passing. It's not going to be here all day, but there is a small chance for some accumulation. Models here, what is 666 telling us? That's not good. 0.2, 0.6 is kind of where we're at here. So a dusting up to an inch. Now, we've seen what that can do. Saturdays, there's another system. That one is way stronger than Friday's.
Still have the leading edge of this Arctic air mass that's starting to push into our area. Didn't quite get here overnight, but it is making a difference right now, and you're going to feel it all day today. Our wind chills are near zero this morning, and we're not going to see that change a whole lot for at least the first part of the day. Now, looking ahead into many other spots right now, like I said, upper teens. I think area-wide you can say, yeah, that's a little colder than it was yesterday in some cases, but I had a couple of spots yesterday, 11, 12, 13. So where's that cold air? Well, we'll find it in a second, but let's focus on the wind chill here. 5 to 10 right now, significant cold air at the moment. Cloud cover around, look to the north. That's where it's a little clear. You'll see this cloud cover is really thin, but it does make a difference here for us in terms of keeping all that cold air out of it. But let's go to the north a little bit. 5 in Kirksville, 1 below in Des Moines. This is a very cold air mass that stretches all the way from northern Minnesota and obviously beyond into Canada, but it's going over this snowpack. So a lot of the times we see these Arctic air masses that are in place, and they get over non-snowpack, they warm up a little bit, they change. This polar air mass has continued to go right over the snowpack. So the leading edge of it right here, that's what nudges south. You'll notice the difference between Cape here and Kirksville. It's a pretty significant difference. Now we're right on the edge of this, and as it pushes off to the east over the next 24 hours, we're not going to sink into it like they are, but what we'll notice here is clouds are around most of the day. They're not going to change a lot. It's not going to be a wildly sunny day, but I do think you see the sun, especially the further north you are in Pike County, Litchfield, some of those areas with a lot more snow. And temperatures are going to be in the low 20s. We still fall, and we're standing to fall another degree or two as the air mass sinks in, and then we'll start to, I want to call it warm up to around 20 degrees. Now, I mentioned a couple of days ago, or yesterday specifically, that it could be one of our coldest high temperatures of the day on record in December 4th. Now, the coldest high on record for December 4th, 1886, 20 degrees. Now, I think that's pretty close to where we are this afternoon, somewhere between 1 and 2. However, technically, we were 30 at midnight because of that lag in Arctic air. So this will be the 6th coldest December 4th on record. Keep in mind our average highs this time of the year are 48, so that's the big difference here. Next 7 days, our weather impact alert continues for frigid air as I think we rebound to 21. It's still bitter cold. That's why our weather impact alert continues. And one thing I want to note is look how we fall to 11 overnight. That's important for us because futurecast temperatures tomorrow morning, I think arguably will be colder than they are right now, but there's no weather impact alert simply because we're going to warm up nicely in the afternoon. Temperatures, though, may start off between 5 to 10, low teens area-wide. Friday's definitely a cold morning, and I think it's kind of like this morning, but that's the edge of that Arctic air mass. And as we return our southwesterly flow, we're going to rebound nicely in the upper 30s. And, you know, we're talking about kind of car wash days. There's several of them, especially as we start to see more melting of the snow, especially in the sunny areas and all that stuff. So you're going to see more of that the next few days. I do see another nudge of Arctic air that comes down Sunday into Monday and drops us into the teens, but it does rebound in the middle of next week with the next rain chance by Wednesday.
Not seeing much progress in terms of these temperatures getting colder. That is a good sign. That does mean we're not going to see a continuation of some areas seeing it colder, like Carroll through Marshalltown, all down in negative double digits between -11 and -13. Now, in terms of us breaking a record, that seems to that door is closing pretty quickly. We are still looking at landing in that third place spot for the third coldest low temperature for December 4th. But we were looking at that possibility of seeing the -6. So once again, good news that we're not seeing that. The wind chill, of course, is the main priority. Anywhere from -7 for Grinnell up to -25 up towards Mason City. You have Council Bluffs showing a slight positive, but notice there's no real wind movement around this area. And Sioux City starting to get the south wind. All good news for us as we will get south wind back today, and that will start warming us up. It does such a good job warming us up that we don't even have much of a cool down. We see that initial drop off after sunset of a couple of degrees, and then we just warm up throughout the night. That's how cold we are and how good this south wind is going to be to us. Now, this also starts bringing in the humidity, but ultimately it's not going to have a fantastic output for us, as we're not going to see much for precipitation until we get to this weekend. But at this moment, it's -1 outside. We still have the northwest wind. Keep in mind, this is a 12-degree drop off in our wind chill. Wind's only moving at 6 miles per hour, so any pickup of the wind, any mild gust is going to make it significantly worse. Now, satellite and radar has nothing for us to see. All we see right here is that last moment of the state covered in snow. We have made zero progress in getting rid of it. Now this weekend, we're going to add more to it. So getting into Saturday afternoon, as low pressure starts getting some strength, starts putting up some snowfall in the northwestern portion of Iowa. This is going to be the area that sees the best chance for good accumulating snowfall, maybe up to around 3 to 4 inches, but the majority of us are looking at maybe 1 inch to 2 inches at best. This system really starts weakening overnight, and we start drying things out as this north wind takes over. Therefore, not enough moisture for this to work with, not enough ice in the clouds for us to get that snowfall, but it does still keep some precipitation around. We get a break from it on Sunday, and then, of course, getting into Monday, that next round of light snow comes our direction. Now, once we get through this weekend and we get into Monday, we do see a pickup back in our temperatures. The front passing on Saturday, or essentially us getting to that north and western side of the low, really tanks our temperatures once again. But we have a little improvement once we get into the afternoons. Even by Monday, we're back up to 28 degrees, and then we start holding in a closer to seasonal range. This is still well below the seasonal average. We should be sitting around 40 to 41 in the afternoons, and we kind of get some time above freezing. The only downside, that comes with cloud cover and a chance for even more wintry precipitation. That could ultimately keep us down below freezing once we get closer to those days. The rest of the week does dry up. We'll get some sunshine, but we're not getting back above freezing just yet.